After Across the Spider-Verse came out, Gwen got a lot of hate from some viewers. But fortunately, most people really love her. So in this video, I want to talk about why some of the hate makes a bit of sense, but also why it's kind of unfair to put all that negativity on her. First off, in Across the Spider-Verse, Gwen's character got way more focus than some of the other characters. That means we got to see more of her personality, her struggles, and her story. Instead of making her this perfect superhero who never messes up, the creators chose to show her as a real person who makes mistakes, has flaws, and isn't always right. That's actually really cool because it makes her more relatable and interesting. Plus, she's not just there to be a love interest for Miles. That's great because it shows she's her own person with her own story. But some people didn't get that or didn't notice it. To put things into perspective, let me give you an example: Spider-Punk. He was in the movie for a really short time, but every time he was on screen he was helping Miles and doing good stuff. So even though he didn't have much screen time and only showed up again at the very end, people came away with a positive feeling about his character.
Kid, stop calling me.
Here we go.
Hoping you're not helping.
Good.
Spider-Bite is kind of the same story. She had even less time on screen than Spider-Punk, but she was helping Miles too. So naturally, people had a good impression of her because all we saw was the good stuff she did. Now, Peter B. Parker also betrayed Miles, but interestingly, not a lot of people seem to criticize him as much as they do Gwen. One big reason is that Peter didn't get much screen time, so people didn't really spend a lot of time thinking about his flaws. Also, he got a moment to talk to Miles during the chase scene, just the two of them. He explained some things and that helped the audience understand where he was coming from. Gwen didn't get any moment like that. She had way more time on screen, interacted a lot with Miles, but we never got to see a private conversation where things could be explained between the two of them when things went wrong. That made some people feel frustrated with her. However, I really like that the creators saved that kind of important conversation for the next movie. It keeps you curious and means Gwen's story isn't finished yet. Unfortunately, because people didn't get that closure in this film, some of them were left with a pretty bad impression of her, even though she's a complex character who's still growing. Some people don't waste any time throwing shade at Gwen. They even say things like they hope she dies in the next movie or that Miles should never forgive her. It sounds harsh, but that kind of negativity was way worse right after Across the Spider-Verse first came out. Fortunately, the amount of hate has calmed down a bit since then, but there are still some people who just can't get over what happened and keep disliking her. This kind of hate will probably keep going all the way up until Beyond the Spider-Verse comes out. The big problem is that a lot of folks seem to act like Across the Spider-Verse is the end of the story, and it really isn't. The film actually ends on a cliffhanger, meaning the story is far from over. So, treating that movie as the final chapter is sort of silly because there's so much more to come. Until the next movie releases, you can almost guarantee that there will be people still criticizing Gwen and bringing up her mistakes over and over again. At the end of Across the Spider-Verse, we actually see Gwen totally determined to fix things with Miles. She even puts together her own team of other spider people and is ready to travel across the multiverse to find him and make things right. That shows a lot of growth and dedication on her part. But here's the thing, do you think most people remember that about her when they talk about her character? Probably not. Many just focus on the betrayal and the negative moments because those happened in front of us and were hard to see. It's partly because Gwen had so much screen time but never got a real honest heart-to-heart conversation with Miles alone to explain what was going on. That's why Beyond the Spider-Verse is so important. The next movie will give that story some much-needed closure, and hopefully change a lot of people's minds about Gwen. I'm pretty sure when that movie comes out, many will see her character in a totally new light and appreciate her a lot more. Gwen is not just some side character or simply a love interest for Miles. She actually has her own story, her own struggles, and her own growth. You can see that she's being developed as a full character who makes mistakes, learns from them, and tries hard to fix what she's done wrong.
I'm going to find him. I don't know where exactly, but I know where to start.
It's the
One
first
thing I
time for
learned
everything,
from
right?
Miles, it's all possible.
That's pretty rare in most movies, especially when it comes to love interests. Usually, in stories like these, it's the main character, the protagonist who ends up messing things up with their love interest. But with Gwen, it's totally flipped around. Instead, she's the one who makes a mistake and messes things up with Miles. That's actually really unique and fresh storytelling because it gives us a different perspective on relationships and how complicated they can be. I really appreciate that the creators didn't just make her perfect or flawless. We get to see her as a real person who isn't afraid to own up to her mistakes and try to fix them, which makes her way more relatable.